Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Garden State Growing. Did you know that I grow mushrooms? So right here in front of me I have the mushroom grow kit from Back to Roots, and it is coming to harvest time for this mushroom. As you can see, the gills are turned up and it's getting ready to release, or it is releasing all of its spores right now. The last batch that I got from Home Depot, I already ate them. So I'm just gonna harvest these right now. And that's wonderful. Now, what I neglected to say in the last video was we are not done with these mushrooms. Now, what I was always taught, and what we're going to get into later on in this series of mushrooms, is let the block dry out and then restart the process. Soak them for 10 hours, get them out, mist them twice a day, and voila, you'll get another flush. But it always knows that the second flush is never as good as the first, and the first on this is not spectacular. So I'm going to put this aside. Let me get rid of this. It's so funny. Whenever I scrub in for a surgery with a doctor, and whether it's the first case of the day or the third case of the day, like he'll come in, and as I gown and glove him, I'll be like, round one, doc, and then I'll be like, at the end of the day, I'll be like, round three, I don't know. This is round two for growing mushrooms. Now, these are by Nearby Naturals. Like I said, these blocks are 10 pounds a piece. They were $40 a piece. So this is $80 here, compared to the Home Depot blocks that were, I think it was a half a pound for $20. And I mean, this is a nice little nugget of a meal for me and my wife, but not much more than that. I want to do a lot better. Now, I have grown mushrooms from petri dishes, from spore prints, from cloning and other stuff like that. But right now, I just want to go back to the fundamentals and research how to do these properly and the correct way from professionals. So right here I have the king trumpet, or you might say the king oyster mushroom is the same exact mushroom. And over here I have the shiitake mushroom. And today I'm only going to cover the king trumpet because they have a QR code on the bag here, and I did go into the research that they provided for me, and I just want to kind of break that up. I'm not going to go through the whole thing from start to finish because right now I'm just doing the setup phase, and there's no reason for me to go through the next steps until the block is ready for me to go through the next steps. And then on a next video I will do the shiitake block after I research into that from Nearby Naturals. These are their blocks, so they know how they grow the best. So I'm going to follow their instructions, and I hope I don't flub it up too bad. So let me put the shiitakes away. And we're just going to get into the king trumpet. Now, when I first got this bag, it confused me because it already had a big slash in the top. And if you remember the Home Depot mushroom grows, I was like, oh my God, there's a hole in it. It's completely contaminated. But for whatever reason, Nearby Naturals got it to a point where they could make this cut in here. It was going to add oxygen to this. It was going to start the growing fruiting stage of this fruiting block, and I don't have to worry about it being contaminated. I obviously look at it, it's super white, super gorgeous. There's not a bad smell. There's no smell, slight straw to be found on this entire thing, and I think this is just marvelous that for twice the price of the Back to the Roots kit, and listen, I'm not trying to bash Back to the Roots. They may be like a husband-wife little tag team that are trying their hardest to market, and they got a Home Depot contract, and this is the time of their life. I am not trying to bash it. It was entertaining. It was really baby stepping back into growing mushrooms. I absolutely loved growing them, and you know what? They are tasty as F. So I'm just going to leave it there with that. Is it economical? No. But it was so much fun. Back to roots. Please flourish and grow. I do not want to do like the seal of disapproval on that. Like a lot of other mushroom kits that are grow in a box, I mean, obviously, as the last ones that I just grew were grow in a box. These are not. The only purpose of the box was for shipping. These need to be removed from the box and set up. So this is what we're going to do for the King Trumpet. All right, so this is setting up the bag. Now we're looking for anywhere between 55 and 68 degrees. Any higher than that, you will not get any fruit. Anywhere below that, they will still stay dormant. That's fine. Usually inside of everybody's household, you're in that range right there. I mean, if you're one of them people that really like a hot temperature in your living space, maybe you should consider putting these in your basement where it could be a little bit cooler. They will flourish a little bit better at the lower range of that 55 to 68. As far as sunlight requirements go, they really don't need much. You can add a little bit of sunlight to them, but remember, it will dry the fruiting block out, and you will have to mist your blocks a lot sooner if you do that. I don't find it really necessary. You can just put your fruiting block on. I mean, it's popular to do it right on your kitchen countertop and just be done with it. But I have to caution, do not put these mushrooms in direct sunlight. So the next step that they want me to follow is they want me to scratch this white mycelium coating off of the top, but they do not want me to open a bag. I really don't see that as that big of a deal. They did offer me a slit right here from the side so I can go in. It's just a bag. And yes, I can just scrape this up. And I really want to get the white up. I want to see some of the substrate from down below, the medium or whatever they used. That was it. It took me literally 2 seconds to do that. That's going to stimulate fruiting production. So at this point, you have taken your block, you put it aside on your countertop or on a shelf or whatever, and it's been 2 weeks, and you're going to start seeing it to pin. And that is the baby mushrooms growing. There may be, you know, I don't know, 15, 20, 30, or the whole block might just be exploding with pins. You need to just relax and not get too excited or too disappointed at this point. It really doesn't matter how many pins come up. They are either going to, they're going to equalize themselves out is what I'm trying to say. If you have a lot of pins and a lot of mushrooms, they're going to be smaller. If 50% of them die off, you're going to have 50% that just grew a lot larger. The weight of your harvest is kind of predetermined by all the hard work that was done prior to starting this fruiting block by Nearby Naturals. Now, at this stage where your fruiting block starts to pin, you shouldn't really still have to worry about too much of misting. They, at Nearby Naturals, say they put in the perfect amount of water for the substrate that they put in here with the mycelium, and that should be good for a while. I mean, you might have to come in here like once a day or once every other day and give it a mist or two. And that should be sufficient for right now until we move on to the post-pinning stage. And at that point, I'm going to slice the top of this bag off. I'm going to roll it down, and I'm going to show you why I do what I do according to Nearby Naturals instructions, not mine. These are those instructions, because I believe every mushroom farmer knows how to grow their plants, or I'm sorry, did I say plant? Fungus, the best. So I'm going to put this aside, and right now I'm going to dive into what it's going to take to do the setup for the shiitake mushrooms, and maybe I will record that video as well tonight. But for now, I love you. I hope you had a great evening, and I can't wait for subsequent videos to come out on these growing blocks and my second flush on the Home Depot mushrooms that I bought, and getting into those shiitake mushrooms. So if you like this content, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, ring-a-ding-ding, and I will see you on the next episode.
Walking alone, the streets are empty. The only thing I can see is my own silhouette. I'm getting strong.
I already called not helping.
Call not helping.
No. I call ignoring you.
No!